What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here with the Season 3, Episode 12 review of Black Lightning on the CW. If you have not seen this episode yet, come on back, because there will be spoilers. I apologize for there not being an Episode 11 review. If you follow me on social media, which you should be, it's all right here. I told you guys last week I had a lot of major auditions that I had to prepare for. And as far as not just hosting stuff in front of the camera, as far as acting stuff where I had 5-6 pages of dialogue to learn. So I apologize for not having that, but I'm here, so hopefully y'all not too mad at me. But let's get right into it. I did catch up. So as you see now, the Markovians have Dr. Lynn Stewart as well as Tobias. And it's always like, because of moles in the office. We find that out later, how there's a mole when you have Colonel Mosen talking to Lynn when she's in Markovian custody, how she found out that it was Odell tricking her to take green light the whole time. Every time there's a bad guy, bad organization, and there's a good organization that is attempting to stop them, there's always a mole on the inside. It never fails. So it's always one of those, it's one of those things that just has to be written in. And it's cool, I guess. I could just deal with some hacking or something like that, but a mole ain't a big thing. But it kicks off the episode with Dr. Jace giving a testimony, recording a testimonial video, talking about how she knows that once the Markovians get Lynn, and Lynn makes the stabilization formula for the metahumans, they basically gonna kill her, so she needs to try to become buddy-buddy with Lynn to spare her life. And then immediately as that happens, after we get that done, we get Lynn in the building whooping her ass. It's a continuation ass whooping from season 2. And guess what? I was here for it. Because there wasn't no fight back in Jace because, A, not only could she not fight back, but B, she was trying to play that role of, I want to be your friend. I want to help you. I know what this is. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have started on this, and try to use different emotions and sympathies against her. And I'm like, all right, I like this. Also, shouts out to the writers. Shouts out to Lynette and Alan for writing this dope episode. There have been a lot of episodes I've loved the writing on. I've loved the way it's structured. And there's another episodes I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what happened here. But then I find out what happened, and I'm like, well, that makes all the sense in the world. That makes all the sense. But I did like a lot of things. There's a lot of things with the dialogue, a lot of things with just small annotations and things that are reflective of. Again, with Lynn in this situation, Lynn being strung out on green light and is basically having needed a fix. She's going through withdrawal and watching her symptoms. And Dr. J's trying to tell her, why don't you give me the stabilization formula and I'll make it for you because your hands aren't steady. Your mind isn't focused. And Lynn like, a cup of flour, a cup of butter, some brown sugar. I was like, fuck y'all for the bacon cake. And it turns out Lynn is giving Dr. Jace her grandmother's peanut butter cookie recipe. But again, things like this I've always brought up when it comes to Lynn's addiction being portrayed in the show, how even later, where you have Colonel Mosen telling her, like I said earlier, but then you have her looking at the green light tab and the thing, and her just all of a sudden deciding she needs it. She has to take it. The only thing this episode would have needed in that situation was for Lynn to look at the cup, start shaking and scratching, going, "He keep calling me. He keep calling me." I would have cried laughing. Because it would have worked. But again, there's the realization of what happens in communities when drug addiction is real. And the parallels to it with this green light situation. And that's what they've done in this season of Black Lightning. You even have a situation where later in the episode, Jeff has to tell Anissa about Lynn being addicted to green light. And while Anissa is mad, like, why you ain't stay with mom trying to help her? You didn't have to come help the resistance. And Jeff like, listen, this isn't a thing that's going to take a day or a week to resolve. This is going to take time. And him even bringing up the signs are all there. And many people throughout, not just in my community, other communities as well, have heard of people being addicted to drugs. And there being signs all the time in which people have ignored. And I think that was a small but interesting and necessary tidbit we had to have with this when talking about this situation when it comes to drug addiction. Even though it is a fictional drug such as green light, but many people have seen it. And even to the point where Lynn is in the kitchen, in the lab. I say in the kitchen because that's what it looked like. She was in the kitchen cooking up dope. She out here trying to make methadone, and they got it with she measuring stuff. And if you've ever seen any hood movies like Menace to Society, you ever watched The Wire, you ever seen New Jack City, I mean, so many other movies and TV shows, the list goes on and on. I can make a whole list of it. That's an episode within itself. When they show people when they're measuring up baking soda and cocaine to cook up product, like, yo, this is what it looks like. This is that symbolism, that realism element showing you these things happen in real life. You have a doctor who is addicted to drugs. These happen in real life. It's not just people from poor and afflicted communities. People who are well-to-do can be addicted, and when they feel like they can make things on their own, they go ahead and try that. So I enjoyed that. Also, I like the fact how we see Tobias, again, being worked on by the Markovians. And one of the things Tobias has always been known for being a self-hating black dude. And he will make jabs at black people that be like, oh my God, if you not look at yourself in the mirror and realize what you be, oh, it hurts. And he said, I can't trust, he said, I can't trust a big-lipped, barrel-chested, nappy-headed, sleuth-footed Negro. I clutched my non-proverbial pearls and was like, oh my God. Because here's the thing, my lips are amazing. They're not big lips, ladies. They're great. They're delectable. I got a barrel chest. I work out a lot, okay? If you follow me on social media, you know I do this. Nappy-headed, I'm bald by choice. Slew-footed, my feet go in the straight direction. But damn, to hear all that together just hurt. And to have the doctor or assistant, I don't know exactly what, you know, his status is in the Markovian camp, say, you know what, and I can't trust a self-hating black man, but then again, you ain't that black. I was like, oh, okay, we throwing jabs for jabs. Cool. And it's, again, there are things like this, again, real life. There are many self-hating black men who hate black people. And I've always said the top two choices for me are Montel Williams and Jimmy Walker. How do I know personally? Because I've met both of them in fucking person. And they hate black people, especially black men. Never fails. Never fails. I'm sorry if I just killed all of your love for beloved JJ from Good Times, but I hate JJ from Good Times in person with a passion. Just, it is what it is. We go into the Sanctum with Gambi, TC, Brandon, Jen, Anissa, Jeff, and Khalil laid out. And when TC's there, but also the fact that you see that Jen brought, you know, Brandon, of course, with Jeff and Anissa, Jeff pulls Gammy aside and said, you now have two outsiders in the Sanctum? Get it? Outsiders. We're starting to get that name, and that team is building together. Because even later in the episode, when after Jeff and Anissa meet up with Major Gray at the behest of Sergeant Grail to set up this meeting to figure out how to get Lynn out of Markovia, and Jeff says he's going to bring a team, you know, Anissa is back at her apartment with Grace, telling Grace what's going on. Grace like, yo, I want to go with you. And again, we know that Grace Choi is a part of the Outsiders in the comics. And, you know, here's another thing about the jabs and the quips that go in the script. At one point, Anissa tells Grace, you can't handle yourself. You can be like a little kid. Literally, you're a shapeshifter. You can't control yourself. And Grace is like, I can. She's like, yo, I did whoop your ass at one point, you know, when she was the old man. And Anissa's like, I don't want to fight an old man. And so they begin to spar. And Anissa says, okay, no powers. Grace says one of the best lines in this possible whole episode. She says, is thunder afraid of a little pussy? Cat? Thunder afraid of a little pussy? Okay. That was probably me just being immature. But everybody caught that shit. If you didn't, I don't know where you were. But let's go back to the Sanctum with everybody in there. And TC being the meta that can connect with technology, realizes about this quantum processing chip in Khalil Painkiller's head, and realizes he has to put the Painkiller program behind a firewall. And the first time he goes in there, the Painkiller program pushes him out as if he's a virus. And so eventually Jennifer help to build a wall of electricity to push him behind his firewall. And it even gets to the point where they find out the actual Khalil is in the safe haven he's made it his own bedroom. He's afraid of the Painkiller program. And Jennifer's eventually brought in after she turns herself into pure electrical current and puts herself as a physical embodiment inside of his processing unit and brings him out. And when she's bringing Khalil out, Khalil is forced to look at all of the horrors he's committed as Painkiller via the Painkiller program. And that's why I got to give props to my boy Jordan Calloway. Again, I'm doing this kind of early, so y'all got to forgive me. Jordan's the homie. And I knew how excited Jordan was to finally be Painkiller. When I tell you, I know how he's been so on charge, being able to work with the stunt team and, you know, being in the action element. But to watch him do the two roles, the Painkiller role, where it's cold, callous, unrelenting, no remorse, no feeling, no emotion, and to have it be forced to be seen by Khalil, who has to witness all these atrocities, even the horror of murdering his own mother with his own bare hands, where you watch him look at his hands and the hands tremble. And that, as an actor, is something dope, to be able to convey that emotion, and then to have not only the people in the scene with you feel it, to have it come through the screen. That speaks volumes. And I was very, very impressed and very happy for my bro seeing that. Even when he comes out of that and he's brought back to consciousness, and Jen is there and Jen wants to hug him, and Gamby's like, you can't touch him. The ASA has fortified his toxin where his skin is now a conduit of it. And Khalil can spit out how he can control the amounts of venom that comes out of him, whether it be a stun, paralyzed, kill, all of that. He has to tell Jen, I can't be with you. I'm a monster. Like, he's seen the horrors he's committed, the atrocities. But I think that's part of the journey. I think his character arc and his journey throughout this show has been one of the best, to be quite honest with you. For me, you know, we've seen Black Lightning go through the ups and downs. That's what a superhero does, a hero. We've seen Jen come into her own, accepting, first denying her abilities and now accepting them. But the Khalil pain to Painkiller to Khalil / Painkiller, the arc from season 1, from being the track star who is gunned down to having his spot, you know, having his life given back by Tobias to become a bad guy, who then has his life taken away by Tobias by ripping his entire spine out, to having his whole life be reprogrammed by the ASA, to now coming back and to finding out who he is and all these atrocities which he committed, which were worse than when he was working for Tobias. The arc to where he's going to become potentially a member of these outsiders is a great arc that has been developed, and I give the writers, the story editors, those all the props, and definitely my props to my boy Jordan Calloway for portraying that arc and doing it justice, because you have to pay attention to that arc. We watched the arc of Lynn going from divorcee to superhero wife, divorcee, to back to being a superhero wife, to now finding out her daughters have superpowers, to going back being a scientist, to helping everything. There's arcs that have happened, and I rock with Lynn's arc, but Jordan's arc, Khalil's arc, has been something that has shown you what a hero is, and Lynn is a hero in her own right after she gets off the drugs. One of the dope things is Jefferson keeps finding out more and more about Gamby. And I like it when the fact he tells Gamby, like, Gamby was like, yo, you need me. He's like, bro, we can't have you do this. And Gamby starts speaking Russian. He was like, well, all right, well, go pack a goddamn bag then. Get your shit together. But all these things have happened. And overall, like I said, there are moments in this show I've not rocked with, I will admit. There's episodes I've been completely on board with. So if I had to give this episode, a rating on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd give it about a 3.5. It wasn't the best. For damn sure wasn't the worst. I know it's building. I wish it had more of a post-crisis feel, not just kind of the throw-off that I felt it had in episode 10. And again, I also remember that this show was never meant to be part of the larger Arrowverse. Never. Was never meant to be. And so it's going to take a minute before it plays into that. And if it does, that's well. I mean, granted, it would be nice for to see it being played into with the inevitable showdown with the Markovians, you know, and their meta team. So that would be something nice to see. But again, 3.5 stars. That's what I give it. Again, I'm waiting on this. It's going further. We got 4 more episodes, so I can't wait to see what happens. I want to know what you think about it in the comments below, all right? So go ahead and like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell and tell me. You know how I say every week, are you rocking with the show still? Have you given up? Have you got more hope and excitement? What do you feel, okay? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram right there. Spelled it below. That's the social media. The Patreon, patreon.com/Mr. J. Washington. Same thing there. And check out the Mad Titan podcast. Everywhere you get your podcasts from, get you caught up on everything that is happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. It is Barbershop Talk for Nerds. So come on in the combo, all right? I will holler at you guys next week. Till then, take care. I'm out of here.